You're listening to All Things 3D, where we talk about the world of fabricating, designing, and capturing in the third dimension.
Hey, everybody. What is this? Something new. Formlabs. Hey, everybody. All Things 3D. We are back in business. Today is September 18th, 2015.
Hey, Professor Kopak. Look what I got.
Oh, briefcase.
Yeah, but I've got an SLA printer in a box.
So creative.
Portable. Thank you, Professor Kopak.
So creative.
Thank you.
Really want to nurture your creative self.
Thank you.
Briefcases, completely normal. Shouldn't be afraid of them. I'm not afraid.
When I was a kid, I had a programmable calculator on my side and a briefcase. So
yeah, I was thinking too, if all the kids we could all make pipe clocks this week. We could make we could take a pipe and we could build a clock on a pipe.
Yeah. Hey, let's think about it. Let's design it. No, put the LED. Hey, that's it. Put the LED in the side of it, with the two canister handles. Yeah.
Pipe clock. Pipe clocks are great.
Pipe clocks. That's it. Let's design it. Coming up. We're going to put it out there.
Awesome. Hey, so what was that video you were showing us, Mike?
Well, you know what was the first item in the news? And hey, this is our new 30-minute version of this. So we're going to really run through this really, really quick. So I'm going to go right into it. And hey, looks like Formlabs on the 22nd has got something great to show us. Obviously, with that little teaser trailer that I just showed you, that little video, it appears that they've got some interesting things. So as you know, we've got our friend Brad Hill, as well as Steve Hernandez, who are really into SLA. So I sent out an email to them to figure out what was going on. Plus, I went out to Reddit to see what's going on with this thing, and I have my own ideas. But essentially, looks like there's some type of wiper system. Looks like there's some type of flow mechanism. Both Brad and Steve thinks it's some type of oxygenation system using a lower or cheaper material than what the Carbon 3D uses in order, obviously, to improve and increase performance. Rev
2 of the Formlabs machine. This actually might have to get added to my arsenal. This could be this could actually be a really cool machine here. Awesome.
Could be. And also, there's thoughts that it might have a larger build size, so it could be larger. Could be using a new wipe system and an oxygenation system. Ugh. Okay, well, on to the next item, Mr. Chris.
All right, well, on 2.0, while we're talking about 2.0 things, this week, Filastruder, who has shipped over 2,000 units of a filament extrusion system to make your own extruder. Their automated filament extruder. You can buy pellets and cheaply manufacture your own filament at home, and you can experiment with new materials that are not yet available, etc. They have released and unveiled their 2.0 system as well. And here it is for $299, Filastruder 2.0. Comes with a dedicated board, and it says that it's 200% more powerful on the motor. The motor motor control is more advanced and kind of dedicated, and it just looks like kind of a more refined system. And I think for $299 or for $300, it looks like a pretty cool system. So Filastruder 2.0.
Wow, interesting. Excellent. I got to look into that. So essentially, it's something to allow you to create your own filament. Yes.
Yeah. Filastruder 1.0 has been around for a little while now, maybe a couple years actually, and people have been kind of making their own garage hacks to it. And making your own filament can be kind of a chore, and this kind of takes the chore out of it. You feed just regular pellets, so you can buy your material, raw materials, for pennies on the dollar compared to what you're paying for filament, and then put it through this machine, and it'll extrude it out at the right size and pull it out, and wind it up for you. So pretty cool.
And well, to kind of reflect on the negative, I heard that version 1 left a little bit to be desired. So hopefully that's all been improved in the second version, as always the case. All right, on to my next item. And I don't want to join their newsletter right now. So we're going to do this in a little different fashion. We're going to do themes or sections. Right now we're on design, architecture, and engineering. So each of us will select a particular item for each of these themed areas. So this item is obviously the architectural. And this is called Building a Glitch in 3D. Now, I think this is really funny. You know, we've all had faux pas in our designs where things don't line up correctly. Now imagine intentionally wanting to do that. So as you can see here, they've used 3D software and actually to create in their designs misalignments and facade distortion. So I think that's kind of funny. Hey, you didn't quite make that correctly. No, that's a design feature. Okay,
Yeah,
well, I thought that was pretty amusing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So where was this at? Going through a lot of the pictures here. So if you're interested, this took place in Switzerland. Hey, what a surprise, huh? You know, this really must go against the grain of the Swiss and the Germans who, you know, are very precise and have something like that. It probably just eats on them. That's probably what this designer had in mind. Okay, what's on your next item?
Awesome. Next one for me is in the design realm is this really cool Kickstarter. I backed them. It's cool. Here it is. It's called therebyprint Plus, and they're out of Europe somewhere. DIY headphone kits that actually are a kit here to make 3D printed. They include all the components, the electrical components, and then they will send you the file, the 3D print file, to make a 3D printed headphone kit. So those will be my new headphones as soon as I get the file and the parts, which they are saying are going to arrive sometime early next year. And they actually have a lot more projects planned, and this is just the first product that they're planning on building, and then they have more in the works, they claim. And so here's the headphones being assembled and built, and they're 3D printable headphones that I'll be using on the podcast.
So where is this based?
They are out of, let's see, Netherlands. So yeah, of course they're printing on the Ultimaker, and then they're claiming they're claiming they'll be printable on most 3D print machines.
Excellent.
And it looks pretty cool. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, on to my next one, and now we're into 3D in medicine. Well, a lot of people, because it's been in the news a lot, are talking about the titanium chest. Well, I didn't want to do that because it's already out there in the news. So CBC News did this little thing on a guy, Dr. Tarek Libani, who uses 3D printing to overcome the Gaza stethoscope shortage, which to me seems like, wow. So he got some tubing and actually 3D printed all the other components. And there you see him using it. So I thought that, you know, it's pretty cool. Plus, he said it just for $2.50. And, you know, hats off to them. And we're seeing more and more people in the medical try and use it in innovative ways. Obviously, this is very important. I don't know what the actual cost is for a stethoscope. I would say it's a little more than $2.50. But, you know, it looks very similar.
Looks, yeah, and I could see how it could be more cost effective. You know, small parts, or especially small intricate parts that have unique geometries, a lot of times are very cost effective to 3D print. So that's why
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And there's the key, Chris, is small parts. You know, if you want to do large things, it just takes too much time. But smaller, intricate components that can be produced and glued together, I think it's perfect. This is how I do all of my prototypes, and as you probably do with your stuff, as well as the number of people that come to use. So I totally agree with you. I don't know if they're available for you to download, so maybe I'll email them and see if that's the case and make my own stethoscope. But hats off to them. Obviously, innovation is around the world. Okay, on to your next item, Chris.
All right, this one's kind of fun. This is a source from morphosource.org. You can print your own Homo Naledi, species of Homo sapien from South Africa, which is a pretty unique finding they had rather recently. And they have made 3D scans and the STLs, OBJs, and VRMLs available for you to print and study. So you can actually print these and physically study them. And, you know, if you're into archaeology or paleontology, you know, and in this field, I could see how this would be a really cool resource. So you can head over to morphosource.org, and over there they have this project. They have actually a few projects, but recently published, under the recently published, they have these Homo Naledi bones you can actually download and 3D print at home.
You know, that's what's really great with a CT scanner. They're able to scan all of this stuff and actually allow you to print it. We're seeing that. We've talked about Smithsonian, actually had them on. So we're seeing more and more of this. So not only can you visually see things, but you can actually print them to have tactile. And as you know, we talk a lot about VR, and pretty soon we'll be able to experience some of these locations by ourselves, walk around in them. And that'll be my last item for the day. Okay, on to my next item. And this is our 3D scanner darkly area. And we got two items here that I'm going to run through really quick. One is an announcement by Faro, which is I think either German or Swiss company again, who's created a hand type scanner. Now keep in mind, this hand type scanner is about $11,000. But if you need industrial strength, meaning you need precise calibration. You know, I like to give credit to the structure sensor, but it really isn't in this league. But if you do need it, this is carbon fiber, and will actually allow you to scan industrial sites for the usage of measurements. But again, these things aren't cheap. And Faro, the Artec scanners, they're all in the 10,000 plus range. But these are the only things that are going to give you the precision that you need. But that then leads me into the next item, which is XYZ Printing, debuted at IFA 2015. Now, they only had a working prototype, but as you know, with the iSense, the Fuel HG Scanify, and the structure sensor meet the 123 RealSense. And this is something that I've got a developer kit coming in hopefully today, is a new sensor from Intel, the R200, that allows you to scan. It has its own infrared system. The caveat behind this system they don't tell you is that it only uses USB 3, and you have to use a 4th generation Intel processor, meaning the performance needs to be up there. Now, in saying that, when 4th generation, there is a new set of Atom processors, which is what's supposedly in the HoloLens, that we'll be able to use with it, and will be built into some tablets, so you can have even more flexibility. But here it's in operation. One of the things that is not an issue with the structure sensor, currently it only does 60 centimeters by 60 centimeters by 30 centimeters, which is well short of doing a full-size human being. However, it would do faces pretty well. I haven't seen the actual output yet, but like I said, I have my developer kit coming in. So a lot of people are excited about this. Again, the negatives, USB 3, need a high-power laptop or computer in order to process the information. But actually looks kind of cool, and for $200, we'll see.
Wow, $200. That actually, so you're getting one of these, Mike?
Well, they're not available yet, but yeah, I'll get one as soon as they come out, probably next year sometimes.
Wow. Intel joining the race. Cool.
Well, actually, no, the developer kit, yes, will be here tomorrow. So I'll be able to give a report in a couple of weeks on that. As you know, which I'll leave a little later, I'm a little busy in the next couple of weeks. All right, on to your next item, Chris.
All right. Well, this was another Kickstarter project that for $49, I couldn't. We actually had them on the phone, but they were successfully funded. I thought I would just follow up. And the Bevel from the Matter and Form guys, they have this scanner that is for the iPhone. And here it is for $49. They raised $303,000 of their $200,000 goal. So they were successfully funded about a few weeks ago, right? So their campaign ended a few weeks ago, and it's a little scanner, 3D scanner that can actually do pretty well for $49. That works in conjunction with your iPhone. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it works.
Well, as you know, I actually talked about this a little bit more, and with them, I kind of figured out what they were doing, and essentially it is a line scanner, and you actually do the line scanning. So in the past, you have a rotating platform, but you actually rotate it, and it's captured by the iPhone or the Android camera. And as you said, it's very reasonably priced and provides the information, if I remember correctly, through a Bluetooth connection. And if you go out to their site, you can actually download the meshes, and it actually looks pretty good. So if you're in or want to get into 3D, it's probably the most reasonable selection. And I too have two of them coming, Chris. Actually, I'm sad that you got one because I was going to give you a little present for Christmas.
Oh,
Oh, well, maybe James will want it.
there you go.
Okay. All right. So on to my next item, and that is, what do we call it? VR
Exotic.
VR corner in a round room, because it's kind of crazy out there, and it's corny.
This
I know,
is like
but
they're like going for ultimate exotic. For those that are not looking at what I'm looking at, it's appears to be like a woman with tribal bands and a big old python around her, sitting in this really off-the-wall chair with fur and also wearing leather pants. It's the most exotic, and wearing a VR helmet. It's like the most exotic photo I've ever seen.
Well, the important thing behind, yeah, I know, it's very interesting. Yeah, and it's got a snake, a boa constrictor. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she's wearing the River headset, which is interesting and unique. One, it's reasonably priced, but it's one of the first that allows you to do, what do you call it, iris detection. So it will know where you're looking at. And that's very important because it allows you to, one, use depth of field to concentrate on an item, but more importantly, concentrate or improve the definition, I would say, the performance, by only providing high resolution at the point of focus. And then everything else is a lower resolution, so that will increase performance. I did get an opportunity to talk to him at AWE. So if you go back to my AWE first-person reviews, you'll see that it is an interesting device, but it looks kind of bulky and weird. Mm-hmm. Okay, so as mentioned here, even though it shows River on the side, River was an initiative, and $700,000, kind of got distracted there, went to, was it 7 companies? And let's go through them. Did I skip them already? Huh. Okay, here they are. Obi Immersive, Retinad, VR TV, Cereverum, Temple Gates, VR Chat, Inver. I'll put a link out there, but essentially these are some that have been out there already, have some very interesting things. Some of them are evident, but like this one here is using neuroscience and machine learning in order to create educational VR experiences. That's kind of close to my heart, as I'll mention a little bit later. So hats off to them. Obi Immersive, I think we've kind of talked about them before. They are creating some interesting things. One of the reasons is that they're from Mexico, so it's not just the United States. You know, again, we're a worldwide society, and everybody's involved in this, and it'll be very interesting to see what they're working with. But again, $700,000, I'm assuming, was distributed to $100,000 per company, and that'll obviously give them some money to work further. I need to get my name out there more or something, so someone can get to me. But who knows? I got to get some demos out there first. Okay, so there were some follow-up people that you can also read about, but if you're interested in supporting or seeing what was being put out there in the VR world, this would be a great place to look at. My next item, very quickly, because I just ordered it, and I think it's going to be awesome, is the Ember, which is from a company called GemSense out of, I think, Israel. But essentially, this particular, well, maybe the article was from Israel, but this particular device here essentially is about the size of a quarter, and it includes a 6-axis detection system that allows it to be, that information to be sent through Bluetooth and connect to your phones. They're working on a really, what would you call it, groundbreaking or easy to work with SDKs. So if you're a developer, don't have the hardware skills, you can buy this thing. Their developer kit is $99. I hope that's not the final output. I hope that you'll be able to buy this for a lot cheaper than that. But essentially, since it's only about a quarter, you'll be able to attach it to gloves, your body, and have multi-access for a very reasonable price. Normally, multi-access sensors are very costly. As you know, my friends over at 6 Sense, who still are talking about getting the stem out 2 years later, have something like this as well. There's another company, but they're all pretty expensive. So if they can get this out for like $25 a device that you can sew into clothing or attach through Velcro or whatever, I think that'll be really neat because, as I said, it gives you 6 axes, or you don't need all of them, but essentially it provides you 3-dimensional rotational acceleration function so you can put them in controllers. My idea is to illuminate them with infrared or color-coded so that the sensor or the structure sensor will be able to look at it in 3 dimensions and then take the information on the rotational acceleration from the device itself. So looking forward to seeing this and applying it to what I'm working on. So that's GemSense, and that's the Ember. All right, Chris, on to you.
Awesome. Well, I think for our next, we can go right into the Print Whisperer. And for my Print Whisperer section of the day is, I'm just trying to help. A lot of people out there are still having trouble with their ABS sticking, curling on the bed. So there's a new product out there, and it's made by Airwolf, which is a 3D. They make 3D printers here in Southern California. They make a new product that just came out a couple weeks ago, and they have an ABS PETG version. They also have a polycarb version, and they also have a PLA version, depending on what you're working with. This is meant to be applied directly on the glass of your printer. Here's an instruction video on how to use it properly. You basically just put a thin film layer of Wolfbite, is what it's called, and it's a premium heated bed adhesion solution for ABS. And what it does is you don't need to use any coating, no Kapton tape or any of that. Kapton's super expensive, and the blue tape is really not that professional. You know, it's hard to get a really a solid foundation on blue tape sometimes. So the Wolfbite is meant to make it easy to remove also afterwards. So they've specially formulated this stuff, and I know there's people that are still having trouble using it. I've been reading in the Reddit forums, and I think that that probably the number one problem is that people are still not calibrating their first layer properly. So make sure that first layer, read up, get that first layer perfectly calibrated. So you have a nice, you want to make sure that first layer is perfect. Then you can apply this directly to the glass. And I would recommend going over to airwolf3d.com and maybe trying their settings for ABS, at least their temperature settings for the bed, etc., because those are going to be the settings that obviously are compatible with this particular product. So if you're having trouble with your ABS or even polycarb, which you can actually go to their, you can find this on Matter Hackers, and I even included in the show notes underneath, there's a 10% off coupon for Matter Hackers using a code that you can find in the show notes, 6WB8U7, which is, I don't know how long that coupon will be good for, but it'll get you 10% off on your Matter Hackers order. So if you want to try it out, go for it.
Well, thank you, Chris. And James, if you're listening, you were having a problem with ABS, thank the Print Whisperer. I think he's got another solution for you. All right, well, we've added a new section. I kind of do all this out of my basement. It actually looks like a cave. So I've used the word tech cave in the past. So my new section is called Spelunking in the tech cave. And I've got 2 items I want to talk about today. I've had to work a lot with using steel and plastic, especially nylon. And I've been trying to figure out a great way to provide adhesion. So I've done a little bit of research and testing, and I've come up with 2 items. One, Loctite super glue. If you don't have this already, then you haven't been using super glue. Loctite. Do I sound like a commercial? No, actually, this is probably the best super glue. It is more of a gel, so it's easy to distribute. Comes with a very precise nozzle, and then you squeeze it, so it's very controllable. It's about $5 or $6 on Amazon, and you can get it in Prime. Buy it. I use this a lot. However, I found that sometimes it doesn't adhere as well as I'd like. It really works well, but to get a really good bond, you need to wait 24 hours. With a few minutes, you can get most of the bond adhesive properties, but they do suggest 24 hours. So I also use a lot of epoxies. So I started using this new one, which is Plastic Welder from DevCon. And it's very easy to work with. It's a what do you want to call it? Two-channel applicator. You just squeeze it, mix it together. You've got about 5 minutes to apply it, put your pieces together, and this, they say, is one of the best welders out there. And again, it's from DevCon, and it's called Plastic Welder. This one says it's cream color. I don't know if it comes in any other colors. I think it may come in a gray. I didn't choose that when I selected this. That works well as well. So if you have issues with applying metals together, try that out. And my next item, because as you know, I work with the structure sensor, and I also develop cases. I went ahead and got the new iPad Mini 4, which is this little unit. Boy, if I turn it a certain way, you can't even see it anymore. It is about 20 to 30% thinner than the previous version, and it's light. Now, why the reason I got this is that the iPad Mini 4 has all the same processing as the old iPhone 6 and 6S. Now, obviously not the new, or not the 6S, and the 6 Plus in the iPad. Why they didn't put this in the iPad 3 version, I don't know, but it is available now. You can get a 16 gig version for $299, $300, which some people still think is a little pricey, but you're getting obviously Apple quality and the iPad, and that's up for debate too. But if you want to use the structure sensor, it's the only thing. Now the problem is, because it's thinner, it's also a little taller. So the bracket that you get with the structure or from occipital for the iPad Mini won't work with this. But, you know, Mr. Balzer and Slow 3D's creators has solutions. And it's called, if you notice, there are three things. No, that's not part of it. But I have what I call the Neodymium Mount Bare Essentials, which applies the neodymium magnets directly to the case. And then you can attach the sensor, and voila. So I provide a template, very low cost, and you can continue to use it and also show off your beautiful iPad Mini 3. I am also working on a case with handles using the grip and shoot grip, but that won't be coming up for much later in the year. So if you're interested in getting into this and don't have a lot of money, this has the same horsepower as the iPhone, and or maybe you want a little bigger screen, but the iPad Air 2 is not your choice. Then obviously some people have chosen this. I have already put it through its paces, and it performs well. All right, so enough advertisement for Apple and DevCon and Loctite. So finally, in the news or our calendar items, man, we're doing pretty well today. I've got one other thing to talk about, and that is MEDx. Next week, I'm on a panel next Saturday with the people behind Carbon 3D. How cool is that?
Very cool.
Plus, there's a few other people. Go out to their website. It'll be a link. If you're in the Stanford area or have any reason to go up and visit San Francisco, please stop in. I've got a booth. I've invited Chris. If he's not too busy, maybe he can join me. We both have been doing things as far as using medical. Chris has been more with his friend, K9, his buddy. He's been working with some veterinarians, so hopefully he can give me a few models to take up with me. As you know, with my wife, and now, I think I mentioned it, I've had a few medical issues, and we'll have an MRI. Hopefully it won't be something severe, but cross fingers that's not the case. But I've got the tools and arsenal to look at my own stuff now. And so on that note, go out to Stanford. Chris, anything in the news for you?
In the news, well, we talked about it. It's been a nice little break. I'm happy to be back doing the All Things 3D podcast, and hopefully we can continue this momentum. I know we've got a nice roundtable podcast coming up, don't we? That's going to be celebrating our 2-year anniversary. Can't believe that we've already been doing this 2 years. It's been such a great. We've been doing so great with this, and just having a lot of fun and meeting so many unique people. And I think our upcoming 2-year anniversary roundtable podcast, which will be the longer format, it'll be about 2 hours. We're going to have lots of exciting guests, and maybe we'll get together and we'll do it. We'll do it at your place, and it'll be. I love that, Chris. Yeah, and we can do our. And I know we've got people from Europe joining in. Probably we've got people all over the States. I think we're going to have probably our biggest show yet. So be looking out for that. And I think that's on what date is that? I haven't created one yet. So mid-October. Mid-October. I'm hoping like a Wednesday around 5:30, something like that, so that if you can join in, everybody's kind of decided that would be a good time. But yes, it's going to be a lot of the old faces we've had on before, from, like Chris said, all over the world, India, Europe, United States, and we've already got South America. We've already got a few pledges of some announcements. So we might have some breaking announcements. So definitely be on the lookout for that podcast come mid-October. I think that's going to be a fun one. Okay. And then one other thing before I finish this with the video from MEDx, and that is on Monday, I do an interview with 3D print industry, and I'm going to show off my new VR experience called OR Surgery, which is what I will have in my booth up at Stanford Saturday and Sunday. If you have not experienced NeoDVR and you're in San Francisco or that area, please come by and see it. You have to experience yourself. Just seeing my stupid little video is not enough. However, it will be available. I will let the release date go with 3D print industry, but I do plan to record it in, as I call it, streaming VR. So, yeah. All right. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and end this. As Chris mentioned, everything's in the show notes. And I guess bye. See you next time.
It's a pleasure to welcome you here today to Stanford and to Medicine X.
You look at events like this one here in this room today of Medicine X, and we know that this thing has gone well beyond the society and our founding members.
Have you ever made a decision about your future based on your genetic information?
This is a drug that can potentially cure small cell lung cancer.
For as long as I can remember, I've never been able to smell.
I'm here because I'm a metastatic breast cancer patient. I haven't really said that in public before.
Anyone with lungs can get lung cancer, and no one deserves to die from it.
Right now, there are 1 billion people who will never see a doctor or a nurse in their entire lives.
This is by far the best use of 3D printing I have ever seen.
What these things do is they turn these kids into superheroes.
Losing my leg ended up being the easy part of my journey. The hard part was attaining the right prosthetic. Freedom of mobility is a basic right.
How would you want to be treated if your child died because of a medical error?
We're working in an industry that still considers pages and faxes as being cutting-edge technology.
Why is it so hard for us to change healthcare?
It's not the type of pain that's important, but the fact that pain in itself is present.
There was a lot of focus on what could go wrong. I needed to know that things can go right.
Empathy. How might we foster empathy in medicine?
We're going to still need touch. We're going to still need empathy. They're going to become our partners in figuring out what's going on in medicine.
This is what happens when you co-create something with all the stakeholders. Do not let this stop you. Do not let it take over you, and do what you love.
We're all family. We're all each other's people, and we all belong here.